Welcome back, everybody. Derek Sue, your East Oakland advocate. We are in the kitchen. Today, we're going to work on Japanese mussels. Uh, I used to go to sushi bars a lot, and this was one of my favorite hors d'oeuvres, the green mussels that were at the sushi bar. And they were expensive. You would only get a couple of them. And back in the day, it was only $5 for two. But you got to remember, that was the 80s. So, anyway, these are frozen and they're easier to use. And you get more of them than if you buy them alive. So, uh, nothing wrong with the frozen. I get these from local Asian markets, and they're really easy to use because they're pretty much already prepared. All you got to do, number one, just pull them off of that little stem there, and then put them back on. This makes it easier for you in the future. Make sure you get the little seaweed and little other stuff off of the shell, because the beard, you, sometimes parts of the beard are still left on the shell. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put a whole bunch of them, again, like I said, uh, pull them off right there like that, and then put them back on. So we're going to go through and do that, but then also what you want to do to make the sauce that goes inside of this, you want to go to Asian market. This is a Japanese mayonnaise. It's called Kewpie, and it's a Kewpie mayo, and it comes. You can only get them in Asian markets. So what it essentially is, it's a sweetened mayonnaise. And so you want to get one of those, and then also sriracha, and then the the proper texturing is the frozen flying fish roe, and it makes a difference. If you don't want that, or you have seafood, fish allergies, you can simulate the texturing with Japanese panko. So that's what this is, panko breadcrumbs, and you have to specifically use panko, Panko, for that texturing, and that will hold up in the cooking process. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, put this aside for right now. We're going to mix up the mayonnaise, and what you want to do, just open up. This is a brand new, fully sealed. So let's see. Oh, there's a little tab. And sometimes there's an inside seal also that, oh, no, that one's okay. So you can squeeze out a whole bunch all at once and then save it. So we squeezed out a certain amount. Now we're going to put some sriracha in there. The more you put in, the more spicy it's going to be, and the less you put in. But you want to at least put a tablespoon, and then mix it in. And I like using a good whisk, and then you want to whisk it all the way in. And that makes the dynamite sauce. That's what it's called, dynamite sauce. So once you get it pretty well mixed in there, and then for the texturing part, you'll want to get a tablespoon and get, um, you'll want to defrost the flying fish roe overnight. And that's what I've done here. So you can see this is really loose. That one over there in the package, this is still a brick. But you can dig them out with using a spoon, letting it defrost overnight in the refrigerator. Then what you want to do is take a tablespoon, put a nice heaping tablespoon in there, and then blend it in. And that adds some nice texture to the Dynamite sauce. And again, if you have fish allergies, use the panko uh, for the texturing. It's not quite the same because there's a creamy texture that the flying fish roe adds to the Dynamite sauce that you don't get through the panko, but that's okay. And so anyway, we're going to finish setting up all the mussels, so we'll be right back. Okay, now that we're back, we've got everything mixed in here. The last ingredient that we want to do, as you see, all the mussels are lined up on the tray, and now we want to put in a squeeze of lime here. This is, or a lemon, uh, into the Dynamite sauce. This adds a little bit of tang to the sauce, along with the sweetness of the mayonnaise, and the nuttiness of the flying fish roe. So we want to mix this in. Just half a lemon is all you need. You don't need much, and that's mixed in thoroughly. And we're going to set that aside. Now what we want to do is just spoon in some sauce, mostly over the mussel. Just kind of fill it in. And we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. And then when we come take it out, we're going to put the cool fish roe on there. And you want to go make sure that you have sauce on at least every one of the, the mussels before you really start filling them in with the sauce, because that sauce, once it's cooked and it solidifies a little bit, it is really good. And having a lot of sauce on there, nothing wrong with that. But you want to make sure that every one of the mussels here gets covered. And this isn't all the mussels that were in the box. And inside the box is 2 pounds of mussels, usually about 32, about in that range. And so now we have plenty of sauce. We can go back and fill any ones that look like they can hold some more. That way we don't waste any of the Kewpie mayonnaise, because it is expensive. That little tube there is $9. So it's not a cheap mayonnaise. It's not a mayonnaise that you want to use all the time. It's a very specialized mayo, Japanese mayo, and um, I love it on this. Uh, and again, like I said, if you have fish allergies, you know, use the panko. So anyway, this is ready now to go in the oven for 10 minutes at 350 degrees. So we're going to go do that right now. We'll be right back. Okay, it's been 20 minutes since these went in the oven. Now they've solidified a little bit. As you see, I put a little bit of uh, fish roe right on the top, and that's what we're going to do right now on all of these. We just want to put a little bit just to decorate, to give it a little more color, a little more pop, and uh, the texture of the fish roe is crunchy, and has kind of a nutty flavor to it. So it gives texture uh, and character to each of the hors d'oeuvres here. And like I said, I used to pay $5 for two of them back in the day, and that was back in the 70s. And I was single and didn't have much care. Also, didn't worry too much about my money as I was single, uh, and it just wasn't a big worry because I had a steady job and making good money, and then things eventually change, and but getting back to this, and a lot of you are probably wondering, well, where did you go back in the day? Yoshi's used to be up on Claremont and College and Claremont Avenue. And so after work I would go over there, especially on Fridays, because you could get the jazz show and a nice meal. And it worked well because on Friday nights, when I got off of work, I didn't work too far away. That was at Grand Auto there at Broadway and 51st back in the day. And so, a bunch of us go up there on a Friday after work and drink, eat, and catch a show. So anyway, that's everything right there. That's ready to serve. Uh, Typically in a restaurant, two comes on a platter. I always put four. That way, a couple each has two rather than fighting. I've seen it as a threesome on some restaurants, but I like to put four on a plate for a couple. If you're serving these as hors d'oeuvres to a couple, if it's a single, at least two per person, or give them a platter of three. So that's the Japanese green mussels, the hors d'oeuvres, how you put them together. Cost wasn't too bad. The box of mussels right here, these mussels, 32 of them was $17, so not too bad. And the fish roe, the flying fish roe, that's the hardest part to get because not a lot of markets have it. I found this at a local Asian market, and it was $22 for a pound, and that was the smallest amount that you could buy. It was 1 pound. So um, I can be generous with it because, well, it'll keep in the freezer also. So the cost wasn't too bad. The Kewpie mayonnaise was $8. Uh, uh, Tablespoon of sriracha, so you figure about maybe 50 cents on that, and there's your cost. And so anyway, enjoy. That's one of the ways to save some money and not have to get it at the sushi bar or at Yoshi's. Thanks for joining me. We'll be right back.